Hello, and welcome to Rematched. Now, before I get started with this Battle of Legends Volume 1 review for the game system Unmatched, I'd like to say that this review will be different from my past reviews, as I've already reviewed the Unmatched game Robin Hood vs. Bigfoot, and as far as gameplay goes, these will function the same way. So normally in my reviews, I'll have 3 sections that the review is divided into. Section 1 is the components and the box. And I will go over that briefly, but not very in depth. Section 2 is a gameplay overview, which I will not have. Again, if you want to see how the game works, the basics of it, you can go back and watch my review of Robin Hood vs. Bigfoot. Or you can just go look up how to play Unmatched. There are plenty of great videos out there that can help you with that. And then the third part is my thoughts. And that's primarily what this is going to be. Just me saying, not the overall system of Unmatched, not how I like that. In my past video I said that I really, really like that. I'm going to be more so going over the specifics of each of these characters and the new maps, and how that new stuff factors into the game. So before we get started, I do think it's important to note that this game, unlike the Robin Hood vs. Bigfoot one, comes with 4 characters. The Unmatched sets are divided in a couple of, there are a couple of types of Unmatched sets. This is the largest one. These 4-packs, there is 2 more of these 4-pack ones, and there's many of the 2-packs, which will include 2 characters. There's 1 1-pack, and there will be 3-packs. But as far as this one goes, you're going to get 4 characters, which means it's a 4-player game. But of course, like the other one, you can play with 2 players. Or with the new rules for 3 players coming out, you can also play with 3 players. Now this one, like the other one, will include 2 maps, double-sided. And again, like the other one, this was made by Restoration Games and Mondo Games. And so without further ado, on with the review. Now, if we open up the box here, same basic stuff. What I'm going to go over first is the board. You're going to have 2 maps. You're going to have Sarpedon, I believe you pronounce it. Now, Sarpedon's going to have a pirate ship on one side of the map, and on the other side have this sort of stone monument section. And then if you flip the board, you're also going to get the other map, which is Marmariel. And again, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And this one is going to be like a tower with like flower. I'm explaining all this, but you can clearly see it. Not from as far up as I wish you could, but that is all right. I think you still get the picture. And this map in general is more connected than Sarpedon and any of the other ones. As you can see with the zones, there's a big area right in the middle where if you're a ranged character, you can pretty much hit everyone. There's also some other interesting stuff with these lines. This is like a tower, and so you go like under it. And so that's some cool stuff. This map is very much more Alice oriented, not as far as gameplay, but just as far as looks. I would say this is more of the Alice and King Arthur side, and then this is more of the Sinbad and Medusa side, as far as how the boards are themed. Because there's 4 characters, they can't quite do the Robin Hood versus Bigfoot thing, where they have one map, dedicated to one character and one dedicated to the other character. But I do enjoy both of these maps quite a lot. They're solid maps. I do think, in general, I've liked Marmariel better. I feel like I've played that more. It just seems a little more interesting to me, but they're both good. And these maps actually don't have necessarily more spaces than the 2-player maps. But why you can play 4 players on here and only 2 players on the smaller maps is because these maps are in general more open. where the two-player maps may have the same amount of spaces or zones or whatever, but they're not going to be as open. They're going to be more tight and more ways to pin your opponents. The box, like the other Unmatched one, is very nice. I absolutely love all the inserts in the box. And now I'm going to talk to you about the characters. Now, as far as the characters go, these are all great additions to Unmatched and your sets to play with. And I've said this before, but I will say it again just in case you're new to this whole Unmatched thing. Any of these characters and from any other Unmatched sets can all play together, so you can mix and match them and create a bigger roster for yourself. But to go into the characters in detail, we have King Arthur, Medusa, Alice, and Sinbad with their sidekicks, Merlin, Harpies, the Jabberwock, and the Porter. Now, I'm not going to talk too specifically about these characters, and that's because I'm planning on having another video come out that is going to go into the first batch of Unmatched characters and rank them by how much I like them. And so I'm going to go into more detail about them there, but I still am going to give you a brief overview of each of their special abilities and sort of how they play so that you can understand if you would like them or not. To start off, first we have King Arthur and Merlin. Now, King Arthur is a melee fighter, and Merlin is ranged. And King Arthur has the most health of any of the characters in this set, and as of now, I believe the most health of any Unmatched character, which is 18. Now, King Arthur's special ability is when he attacks, he's able to boost cards. And so the way that works is if he's going to play Excalibur like normal, he's going to have it down and he's going to say, okay, I'm attacking you, but then he's also going to say, I'm boosting that attack. And so to do that, you use the boost value right there on whatever card you're discarding. And then when you attack, if this is not canceled, you're going to add that. And so instead of this Excalibur card being 6, it would be 7, 8 damage. And to be honest, I'm still not entirely sure of his boosts. It seems like if you use them too often, you just kind of burn through cards, which is not helpful. And so it seems like to me, you really rarely use the boost, and you save it for times where you can really nail your opponent when they don't have any defense and completely wipe them out. Arthur in general, because of he's a melee fighter, is going to be, pretty constantly up in his opponent's face because of just his powerful attacks that he has. Excalibur being the main one, and he has some other cool cards in there. Merlin is also the best sidekick, and that is because as a hero, Arthur is not as great as some of the other ones, and so that's balanced out by having Merlin, who has a lot of interesting cards. A lot of sidekicks only have one card that's unique to them. Merlin has quite a few, and so that really makes it a fun team. Up next is Medusa, who is the only character in this set to start off with a move of 3 instead of 2. And she is ranged with her melee harpies, and that's going to come with 3 harpies. But they each have 1 health, as it is for sidekicks with multiple characters. Medusa's special ability is at the start of her turn, she may deal 1 damage to one opposing fighter in her zone. So you're going to want Medusa to start, in people's zones, and then you can be slowly pinging damage at them the entire time. Her main gimmick is the Gaze of Stone, and that's the main primary card that she's going to use to take out her opponents. That card is going to do only 2 unless you win the combat. If you win the combat, then it's going to deal 8 more, making it a total of 10 damage, which will either take out a character or significantly hurt them. So a lot of her deck is going to hinge on that. She has 3 of them, and so you're kind of waiting for the right opportunity when your opponent can't defend against it, where you can play that and just completely wipe them out. And then while you're not doing that, sort of using your harpies and sort of just attacking. Next up is Alice, and she's a melee fighter as well as the Jabberwock, her sidekick. She has the lowest starting health of any character in this set, which is 13, although she does have a card, the Looking Glass, that can regain her some health. And her special ability and her main component is this little token that's going to say whether she is big or small. In the beginning of the game, you get to choose which size you want to be. And then after that, any change of size will be dictated by a card that'll have in its effect change size. And so when you are big, whenever you attack, you get to add 2 to your attack. And when you are small, whenever you're defending, you add 1 to your defense. And so a lot of her deck is going to hinge on this and sort of planning it out, and so that you're the right size at the right time. The Jabberwock is also a little more involved with her deck. Not as much as Merlin, but as far as comparing it to the Porter and the Harpies, I think it's a little more integral to her deck. The final fighter in this set is Sinbad, with his sidekick the Porter. They are both melee, and his special ability is that whenever you maneuver, you get to add 1 to your movement for each Voyage card in your discard pile. And so the way that works is you're going to have these Voyage cards in your deck, and whenever you're going to be playing them, you're going to be slowly powering him up throughout the game. And so by the end of the game, you are going to be super powerful if you're still alive. And so with all the Voyages he has, at some points, Sinbad can have a move of like 5, which is crazy. And the way the Voyage cards work is they get +1 for each other Voyage, so these actual individual Voyage cards will do more damage. So Sinbad really is just a keep growing and powering up character. Now that I've gone through all the characters, that'll conclude this review. But remember, I am going to be doing a video where I really go more in depth about each of these characters, and which ones I like, which ones I don't like as much. Not to spoil it or get too ahead of myself, but out of this set at least, my 2 favorites are Sinbad and Alice. I think all the characters are fun, although these are definitely my favorites. But if you're interested to see my rankings of the other characters in this set, and Robin Hood and Bigfoot from the other set, please consider subscribing so that you'll be notified of that. So in conclusion, as I've said before, I really love Unmatched. I think it's a great system, and I really enjoy this set. This was the first set they released, and it is a solid one. Now, thank you for watching this video. I hope this review was informative, and have a fantastic day, which is going to be more of a pirate ship on one side map, and then more of a, I don't know, a stony, yeah, I don't know. It just something on the, oh dear.